Assalamu alaikum everyone, and especially a warm welcome to the first years in the audience. Today we kickstart SUMSA's Monday lecture series with something most of us struggle with, balancing university life with our religious obligation. Without any further ado, I'd like to present Brother Mohamad Qabil, a regular khatib at SUMSA, a person who gives sermons, and the head of the IT department at USID.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, the first word, the first ayah revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as all of us knows, was Iqra, read. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that Rasulullah sallallahu was illiterate. He didn't know how to read and write, although he insisted for the second time through the angel Qabil and asked him, Iqra, read. And Rasulullah replied, Ma ana biqari. I don't know how to read. I'm illiterate. And then, for the third time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayah, the verse which says, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read by the name of Allah, the Creator. And this was the first word, Iqra, read, which draws our attention that reading is very important to us as human beings. And then he says, the Creator. Reading does not necessarily mean that you read from a written material. Reading the signs of the universe. Many of the inventions was reading the signs of the universe. But why is reading important to us as human beings, and specifically as Muslims? Because reading is the important way, or the most way for acquiring information, for acquiring knowledge. And why do we need information and knowledge? To make decisions, to act upon them, to work with them. Why are we here in this university? Everyone here. We are reading, studying, getting the information, getting your grades, to after that each one of you work in his or her field. Without this information, without this studying, without this knowledge, you wouldn't be working. Okay? In the Quran, what's our purpose here as human beings in this world? Allah subhanahu mentioned clearly, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That I have only created humankind and jinn to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does this contradict with the first ayah? Read? No. Not at all. Why is that? Because many people, and especially the Muslim people, think of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those the only acts of worshipping, which are the salah, the siyam, the zakat, and that's it. That's Islam. They limit it and put it in and corner it in the acts of worship, which is not true. The scholars, when they defined ibadah, they said it's every word and action that we do publicly or privately for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to receive His pleasure, to please Him. So it is not only limited to the ibadah, it's part of it, but it's not only limited to ibadah. It's the job that we do. It's the studying that we are doing. Whatever we do with the intention, and here is the secret, if you want to work for the deen, for the dunya, in this dunya, for the deen, it's the word intention and niyyah. Where the famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that all deeds starts with intention. So when you come to this university and you entered whatever field you wanted to be specialized in, what's the intention? Is my intention to be named or titled doctor or lawyer or accountant or an economist? Is that all? Or we are here to learn for something bigger than that, for a bigger goal, for a bigger objective. It's to benefit our society, the Muslim brothers, the whole society. And above that and on top of that, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah said, إن الله يحب إذا عمل أحدكم عملا أن يتقنه. that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves for those who do whatever job they do it is to perfect it, to do it with perfection. Whatever job, it's not only related to the acts of worship, whatever job, even if it is in the dunya. If you are a doctor, be the best doctor ever. If you are a lawyer, be the best lawyer ever. If you are a student, you have to study to do your best to get the best grades and titles ever. And this is what Islam instructs us to do. If you look at the Sahaba, the companions of Rasulullah, the big names, Umar, Uthman, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, how were these people in terms of deen and dunya? Those were the wealthiest and richest people at that time. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Uthman ibn Affan were merchants, were very big merchants. They were very wealthy. They have, in terms of today, billions of dollars. Not millions, but billions of dollars. And yet, they were the big names in the deen. Abu Bakr, the second one after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Uthman, the third of the Khulafa al-Rashidin. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, what did he do? He was one of the wealthiest. When he died, they couldn't count the fortune he left for his kids. And one day, when his trade came from the east, and people were trying to tell him, we will buy this trade from you one time more than you have bought it for. And he said, no, someone has given me more. Then they said to him, we'll give you double. And someone said to him, and he said, I was given more. And then they told him triple the amount. And he said, no, I was given more. And he said, this is all. And it was a wealth at that time. And he says, this is all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gives you 10 times whatever you pay. Who can give you more than 10 times what you have paid? To 700 times. So they traded, they worked, they had a job, and at the same time, they worked for the deen. It's not living either the dunya or the deen. It's living the dunya, the world, the life, with the rules of the religion, of the deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in our Quran, which is our constitution, our guide, our manual, who knows best other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator? If you buy whatever you buy, a computer, what do? You read the manual and you work by the book. That's it. And then you are given a warranty, 1 to 3 years, that we guarantee that this will function correctly as long as you follow the manual with the computer. If not, it's out of warranty, out of guarantee. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the Quran, our book, the manual, and said, a lifetime guarantee. If you work with this book by the rules, you will be happy in this life and in the hereafter. So what we do? If we study, can we still worship Allah? And if we worship Allah and read the Quran, can we still study? Yes, of course. There is no contradiction as people assume or perceive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the deen wants us as Muslims to be examples, to be role models. If you are a doctor, be the best doctor ever. If you are a student, be the best student ever. Every one of us, in his area, in his field, in his job, at home, between friends, is an ambassador of Islam. People listen and watch what you are doing. So if you come and tell people Islam is a very good deen, perfect, it's full of benefits, and I've been telling this to many people, the first question they tell me, why this is not reflected in you, on you Muslims? What's wrong? And I always tell people there is nothing wrong with the book. There is nothing wrong with the manual. If you have the computer, the manual tells you that you do this and this and this, but you said, I will use my mind. I'll do something different. I'm not happy with the manual. I'm a genius. Okay? I will reinvent the wheel. And then I'll choose another program. What happens? Computer stops working. That's it. It's not responding. So there is nothing wrong with the manual. It's with us, with our minds, with our actions, with our talks, with our words. So Quran, yes, there is nothing wrong with Quran. It is with us who should be implementing what we read and understand from the Quran. One of the scholars said, what made us Muslims nowadays at the tail of the nations, where one day in the past we were the leaders, we were leading the Ummah. It's the separation that we have made between us and the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone says, yes, we are Muslims, we pray in the masjid, we fast, we do this and this and this. Once we are out of the acts of worship, we are different people. We are not those Muslim peoples. We are different. We are losing our mind. And this is not Islam. Islam, نحن أمة اتباع. That's what Rasulullah said. نحن أمة اتباع ولسنا أمة ابتداع. We are a nation of following, not a nation of reinventing the wheel. We have given the path. We have given the role model, Rasulullah and his Sahaba. When he says, أصحابي كالنجوم بأيهم اقتديت باهتديت. That my companions are like the stars with whom you guide yourself with, you will never be misguided. The companions are those who were raised in the school of Rasulullah who was raised by the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah excelled in every field of life. He excelled as a prophet. He excelled as a father. He excelled as a military leader. He excelled as a son. He excelled as a husband. He excelled as a friend and a companion in every field of life. So what happens to us nowadays? We are taking different role models, different examples. If you ask someone, who is your role model? Who is your example? Barely will you find someone saying, oh, Rasulullah or one of his companions. It's that singer, that football player, that figure there, that figure here. And so what? There is no success in this dunya out of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this has been proven time in and out. Islam wants us to be perfect, to enjoy life that we are living today in this dunya. And people say, if we follow the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if we follow the Islam, what happens then? We will lose the joy, the happiness, the contentment here in life. This is not true. This is what the media is trying to sell to us. And unfortunately, we are buying this sell. And we became advertisers for this more than them. And we try to repeat what they're saying to us, which is not true. Which is not true. I'm, as a student here, I'm an example of Islam. I'm an ambassador of Islam. If people see me studying, at the same time, when Salah comes, I'm going to the masjid and praying on time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the hadith of Rasulullah, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلَّ. Those deeds that are loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those continual, consistent deeds and actions. And the first thing that will be asked on the day of judgment is the salah. أول ما يسأل عنه العبد يوم القيامة, the first to be asked as-salah. And in the Quran it is mentioned, إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. The salah has been written on those who believe on a specific and definite time. The salah is the only act of worship that teaches us two very important ingredients of success, which are consistency and discipline. If you want to be successful, you have to have two ingredients: consistency and discipline. And there are two types of regret in this dunya. The regret of, there are two types of pains in this dunya: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. How many times we do the salah every day? 5 times. Yes? Has it been changed since the birth of Rasulullah? No, 5 times. Specific times, yes? So you know that the dhuhr, every day you will pray at this time. The asr, the maghrib, the isha. So what happens? This is consistency. So you discipline yourself to meet the obligation of doing salah at this time. What do you do here in the university? You come every day, you attend lectures, you read, you go to labs, you do researches, you study. This is what? Discipline. This is what? Commitment. How do I arrange my day and organize my day? I organize my day in chunks around the salah. People say that I will do this from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. No. For myself, I do differently. And say, before Fajr, I will wake up early 1 hour and I will be reading some Quran and praying and making dua. Or I will read this article I wanted to read with an open, fresh mind. After Fajr, I will go to the gym at my house and play for half an hour. And then I'll get prepared or listen for something that is motivational and so on. And then come here to work. At work, before Dhuhr, I have 2 hours or 3 hours. Those 3 hours, I will be doing this type of works that is related to project, that is related to non-routine works. I will pray Dhuhr, have lunch. After Dhuhr, till the end of the day, I have 3 another hours. I will be doing this routine work, and so on. And then I'll go home. Then I'll pray Maghrib. Before Maghrib, I'll sit for some time with my family, kids and wife, and then I'll go and pray Maghrib in the masjid. Between Maghrib and Isha, I will listen to something in the Deen or read Quran and then pray Isha. And then after Isha, I'll go back home and then have some time, few time with my kids, and then we'll go to sleep. So the day, the job, the studies is rotating and revolving around Salah. And this is how this is what the Sahaba radiallahu anhum were doing. This is how were they planning their schedule and organizing their day around the Salah. Because the Salah is the only act of worship that is consistent, that is done daily at a specific time, that is known to everyone. And this is what you learn from the Salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his book said, he didn't say pray or go for praying or do praying. He said, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. Perform your prayers. What does perform mean? When you are doing a performance, it is preceded by preparation, by thinking, by adapting your mindset to what you are doing, to what you are going to do next. So I am performing here. Before I came here, I was told the topic. I tried to prepare for it. It was a short notes, but that's okay. I tried to prepare for the topic, what I'm going to speak about, putting points in, and then I'm performing now. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us when we are performing the salah. This is, the Quran is very accurate. Aqimu salah, perform the salah. So what we do, before the salah, we go to make wudu, okay, and then this puts our mindset that in a very few time we are going to stand between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to perform the salah. So we prepare for it mentally, physically. And then what happens? What about performance? As you are being a public figure or a student, you are restricted to things that you have to do or not to do. So when we continue performing the salah from one salah to the other, between those salahs, between those prayers, you remember, I performed the salah. I shouldn't be doing that bad. I shouldn't be doing that evil. It reserves you. It brings you back whenever your mind drifts to do bad things or evil things. And this is the beauty of salah. When someone comes to me and says, tell me about something that I want to do in Islam that I will change, that it will change my life enormously, hugely, I always tell him, work on your salah. Work on your prayers. This is the connection between yourself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن تُكَلِّمَ اللَّهِ فَعَلَيْكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَإِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن يُكَلِّمُكَ اللَّهِ فَعَلَيْكَ بِالْقُرْآنِ. If you want to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to God, then pray between your hands. If you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to talk to you, read the Quran. What's the Quran? It's the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in every ayah in the Quran, in every verse, when you hear, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, oh, those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya ayyuha nas, oh people. Who are these people and who are those believers? It's us. Every one of us is addressed in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's every one of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to every one of us. Do this and don't do that. So the conception that, and the perception that if I work for the dunya, I will be losing the deen. And if I work for the deen, I will be losing the dunya. This is because we have segregated and disconnected deen from the dunya. Dunya is our vehicle to the hereafter. Without this vehicle, you wouldn't be going to the hereafter. When we stand on the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what will be asked for? Our deeds and actions in this dunya. Nothing else. And there is no other opportunity. It's the opportunity in this dunya. Can I be a good doctor and at the same time a good spiritual and a good Muslim? Yes, you can. There are numerous people who were scientists in medicine, pharmacy, economists, finance, whatever you call it, who were very good Muslims. And they worked by the book. And the science of what they have discovered and invented, they said that they have got this from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they have read this science in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the universe. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Read by the name of the Creator. He didn't ask only to read the written materials, but everything that we can read. Every sign in the universe that we can read. And then, we as human beings sometimes lose the motivation and the inspiration. We make decisions and resolutions and say, effective tomorrow, effective the next week, effective Ramadan, effective the Jum'ah, I will be doing so and so and so. Comes Ramadan, comes Friday, comes whatever date you decided, you are inspired at the beginning, motivated, you wanted to do everything at the same time. And this is not going to happen. What happens at the first day? Yes, you're doing it, okay. Second day? Yes, I'm continuing. Third day? Little bit, it's too heavy. I can't. Third day, a week passes and you return back to step one, 0 level. Why? Because we want to do everything at the same time. And this is what we are trying to do indeed. Let me tell you this. You cannot study all the subjects at the same time. Can you study all the subjects at the same time? You cannot do this with the deen. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran to Rasulullah in 23 years. Not in 1 year, not in one go, in 23 years. Rasulullah spent How long? 13 years in Mecca alone trying to tell people, say just La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. All the other things came when he immigrated to Medina. Except the Salah, everything was written after that when he went to Medina. How do we start? We start bit by bit, slowly. One thing at a time. Salah first. I work on Salah. How to pray. I pray in Jama'ah. How to do it perfectly, and so on. Take it one step at a moment. Start slowly. Start small. Build on your successes. One success leads to the other. Build on your success. One success leads to the other. When I finish the Salah, how long will it take me? It takes you as long as you are doing it the right way. It takes as long as you are doing it the best way. It takes as long as you are giving it your best effort, your best time. So it takes time. And then I move from Salah to something else, to Siyam, to Zakah, to fasting. But you have to start small, bit by bit. Don't overwhelm yourself. If you try to do everything at the same time, you will master none. And you will end up doing nothing at the end. It's like if you try to study here all the subjects in one time, you will not be studying anything. You will not remember anything. It's the same exactly. So here we are here as students. I'm here at my work. I'm trying to represent my dear, represent Islam. If people are telling me, oh, why are you doing this honestly? I remember that I was working in a job here in Australia, and then I left the previous job. Okay? And they didn't present my resignation to HR. So what happened? They kept paying me the money, my salary, for 2 months after leaving the job. It was a good amount of money, by the way. It was very tempting, very appealing. I said, I haven't worked for this money. What can I do? So I gave them a call, and I told them, guys, I have left the company for 2 months now, and you are still paying me the money. What can I do to return back the money? And they said, what? Return the money? Are you returning it back? I said, yes, I'm returning it back. Well, your resignation is not here yet. If you haven't said this, we would have been kept paying you the money, and even when your resignation comes, it doesn't have a start date, so we'll consider this money as depreciated money, and you don't owe us anything. So I told them, guys, this is the book of the dunya. I have another book that I follow. Totally another book. My book that I follow, my manual, my guidance says, if you are working in a job, you take the money. If you are not working in this job, you don't take the money. So I owe you 2 months of my salary, and I want to return it back. What can I do? And they said, okay, we can give you the answer now. We will discuss it and send you a letter. A month later, they said, well, this is our bank number, account number. You can transfer the money to us. Thank you very much. We haven't had this in all our lives, and I don't know what's behind it, but this is a very good behavior. There is guys, and I sent them a letter back. This is my deen. I'm a Muslim. This is what my deen tells me to do. If I owe you money, take the money. And I'm telling you, it was in a very big company. It was tempting, and it was a good amount of money. I said, no, I don't want the money. I'm working by the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I lost the money. But what did I gain? I gained the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is far more precious than the money itself. And this is how we should be as Muslims. We are not living a long-lasting life. We are here for some time. Make use of it. You have the opportunity now to do good things, to satisfy Allah, to please Allah. If you are a student, be the best student ever. Be the role model. Be the example. If people look to you, why is he or she different from us? What's different? Number one, it's the deen. It's there because they're Muslims. They are following the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why are you getting high grades? It's not because I'm studying, I'm hard. The number one reason, because I want to be a good example for a Muslim person as per the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's it. Our goal in life, the best goal ever, is to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what happens then? Anything will come after this. That's all for today. I hope you benefited from this, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Do you have any questions? Happy with this? Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, and see you again next time.
Thank you, Brother Mohamad Qabil, for that inspiring lecture. Inshallah, we'll be having Monday lectures from now every week on Monday, 1 to 2 p.m. Yes. Next week, we have a few exciting topics on. We can't really tell you them now, but inshallah, if you come next week, you'll be able to see.